good day, everybody, and welcome to another version of High Heat, short and wise, as we talked about what's going on as far as the world of baseball is concerned. Liberty Mutual, of course, Moses and Rich Green, you and me now, as we chat. Our good pal is Dave Sims, who has been basically in constant in the city of New York. 44 days he didn't go outside. This is, of course, off spring training, the Mariner voice. And he says hello. Dave, welcome. How are you, buddy?
We're doing well, Chris. I tell you, it's nice to be home, but under these conditions, it's not what we were looking for. And I can't say enough in terms of prayers and everything for people to continue to do the right thing. We've knocked the curve down here in New York, and hope for good health for people who are in the midst of trying to survive and recover from the virus.
And you and I have known each other, a long time. 25, 28 years.
25? How about 30? What are you talking
about? Long time. And I know that this George, as it did everybody, the George Floyd horror show in Minneapolis, you wrote a lot of good stuff on that. Let's get to that for a sec, Dave. Go ahead.
Well, the inhumanity of it was the thing that has just fired up everybody, not only in this country, but when you look at the news and you're looking at world capitals, Tokyo, Seoul, Amsterdam, Paris, everywhere. And people who are correct thinking, who are human, who understand what humanity is about, know that was as wrong a thing as you could ever see. And as I wrote in a piece, the Seattle Times asked me Thursday night, hey, we'd like you to write a column, a guest column about your thoughts on this, and we put something together, and that was in my lead. It says you can't unsee it after you watch it. If you just watch it once. And the thing, and as a black man, born and raised in Philly, lived in New York for a very long time now, and traveling the country, covered Major League Baseball the last 13 years. Hey man, that could have been me. That could have been my kids. Come on, that's not right. And then I love that the whataboutis people say, well, he was a bad guy, he had a criminal record. No, that has nothing to do with it. You don't step on somebody's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Absolutely right.
And nothing against, the cop. And you know what? Let me just state for the record, as I did in the piece, a lot of good cops. And you and I have met a lot of them over the years. Great guys. Bad guys, out of here. Bye-bye.
100% as a bad apple, and that was a horrendous scenario, and this is a problem that's going to be addressed, thank God, after all this time, significantly, as you just said. All right, we got a lot to do with the baseball, too. Eventually, I think they will play something. Who knows? But I do think they will play in some category. You like to have as many games as possible. We have to wait and see how that develops. But what's your sense on resuming here, a little spring training, and then, of course, playing a quick season as far as, which is really against the baseball mode, but you have no choice this year, but a 50, 80, whatever it might be. It's going to be more a sprint than a marathon, Dave. Give me your take on how that's going to handle it. Go ahead.
There's no question about it, and I don't have any problem recognizing whoever the champion is. And when we look back in history, 2020, this is what we're going to remember. I talked to a person in the know, really in the know, and he says, hey, we're going to have baseball. It's not going to be what we're used to, what we like. So let's both parties, the players, the owners, both overshot the runway. They got to come back. You can't kill the game. And my thought, you can't kill the game, obviously. Do I want the game back at 50, 70, 80 games? Doggone right. Heck, if you want to just do a bracket tournament, I'll take that just to get the game back. We can't go 18, 20 months without Major League Baseball. It's inexcusable. It's absolutely inexcusable.
Well, I think you'll get the game. We're definitely going to have the game. The question is, in your eyes, is there a significant interest level drop between 80 games and 50 games?
Yeah, you probably the casual guy. Look, you and I, we grew up with baseball since we were big. All right, so we're coming back, and people like us are coming back. Might they attract the folks a little bit more in the baseball fringe? Yeah, maybe not. But to this point, let's just get it back. If whoever comes back comes back. That's the main thing. Let's get the game back on TV. And maybe if we catch a break, if the virus doesn't spike back, in a very, very big way in like September or something, we might be able to have people, limited crowds for the last part of the season, maybe for the playoffs. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I do think you're right. I think there will be baseball in some capacity. Now, how about the Mariners if they do play? Are they built for the short term? I know over 162, the depth probably isn't there. Could they actually be a factor in a 60, 70 game season in the division?
As well as I do, crazy things can and will happen in a short season like this. We have an extraordinarily young team. Everybody's healed up all across baseball. You get a couple of hot pitchers, couple of hot bats, 50, 60 games, man, boom. And you get a 7-8 game lead. You know, you don't have 2 months to make it up. So you can be able to ride that wave all the way in. And I, you know, we haven't made the playoffs. The Mariners haven't made the playoffs since 2001. And I've heard from friends that, yeah, just our luck. We make the playoffs now, a 50-game season, you know. But I said, you know what? You'll take it. You'll take it. Nobody's going to beef that. And at the end of the season, they're going to give out a World Series check and you get a ring. And I got a pretty easy size finger here. So I think that that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Are they built better long-term with their offense or with their pitching?
Well, that's a good question.
They got better young pitchers. I know they got the kid from the Mets who they all love, but they got better young pitchers.
Justin Dunn, love him. Yeah, him, Sheffield, Taijuan Walker's back. I'd say offensively, I think they're a little
more advanced.
Yeah, a little more advanced that way. Yeah.
What did you see down in Peoria in the 3 weeks in spring training? Did you like what you saw there before the pause?
Yeah, it's spring training. I no longer get excited about. I mean, I like being there. I like doing the games. But in terms of drawing hardcore
evaluations
that are going to carry you through the season, that are going to define what's going to happen in the season, you know, I just let it play out. I really do. Because how many times have you seen it? Hey, he hit 571 in the spring training down in Arizona. April 29th, he's hitting $120 with 2 home runs at 8 RBIs. I mean, come on.
Now, the question that you mentioned a second ago, the asterisk, if they play, you know, as a result of shortened season, and if it's the Yankees and Dodgers, it's different because we all kind of felt they were the 2 best teams going into the year anyway. So if they get to a World Series, I think there'd be some legitimacy. What's your take if it's, you know, 2 teams that we know if they played the full 162 would not be in a World Series scenario? Let's say you got those 2 ball clubs in that spot. How would
let me tell you something, Chris. Of those 2 ball clubs, Team A wins, that city's throwing a party and a parade.
So you're okay with it. Okay, so you're okay with it.
What are you going to do? I mean, you know, we've had other shortened seasons in all the sports.
You know, Pirates against Tampa, you're okay with it from that standpoint. It's fair.
You know what? Lovely people in Tampa. I hate the ballpark. Hell of a ball club. They run a great organization. They are pitching rich. If they were in it, it wouldn't.
Yeah, that's the wrong team. The Pirates would be a better example. Pirates in Kansas City would be a better example.
Yeah. I know people in both towns. They'll have a parade. Trust me.
What do you now? You've been in New York for a long period of time. Are you going to stay here? What is the Dave Sims outlook here in the next 3-4 weeks? Now that we sort of opened up a little bit.
Right. I talked to our director. You know, I've been trying to stay in contact with all the guys back in Seattle and ownership on down. And Jimmy Armentrout, great director, does Lakers games. He says, we'll probably be in the stadium to call the home games.
Right.
Probably socially distanced in the booth. Now, originally, I thought that would be the case. Then B, I thought I'd have to do it from the studio over in Bellevue, Washington. But he said,
road games.
We can, no, for the home games.
Oh, for the home games. Okay.
I'll get to the road games. I'm talking about for the home games. But he said, you know what? We can bring an extra production truck so we can space the people out better. As you know, when you go in a production truck on the road, you know, you got the producer, the director, and the technical director sitting right on top of each other, and then the 2 people behind them. And so they can spread them out 2 trucks. So having said that, it means we could do the games, the home games in a ballpark. We will more than likely do the road games at our ballpark, as will most of the other broadcasters. Same type of situation. We'll have the road team will have 1 dedicated TV camera that we can use, and then you'll be using the rest of the home feed. Will we use our full complement of maybe at our place, I don't know, he said, what did Jimmy say, 10, 12, 15 cameras? Might only have 7 or 8, but we'll be able to cover. And that's the bottom line.
Bottom line is you'll be in your ballpark for a good part of the summer if, in fact, we get some baseball.
Hey, we got a beautiful ballpark, T-Mobile Park. I got to be there for home and away games. I'm good with that. That's easy travel back home at night. Yes.
There you go, baby. I like to see it. Dave, keep up the good work. We're a good job with the Seattle Times as well. We'll keep in touch. Thanks for a few minutes here today.
You bet, Chris. Thanks so much. Good to see you. All the best to you and the family.
You got it. Our good buddy is Dave Sims. Moses, well done. Mitch Green, too. Obviously, Liberty Mutual for high heat. We'll see you in a couple days. Adios.